Hey guys, it's C-Man235 here, and I thought I'm gonna be uploading by the time of this recording. I haven't, I have actually not uploaded the last DVD collection part, so by the time that's uploaded, I will be uploading this sometime at the Xbox One launch. So by the time the day the Xbox One is supposed to come out, you'll see this video, if anyone is actually going to care about that. So. But anyway, I thought I'd give my stance on this console generation and tell you what I thought of it as a whole. The 7th generation is coming to a close, and the day the Xbox One comes out, that's when the 7th generation is ending. And we're going to the 8th generation, which isn't looking good so far. I'll get into those reasons much later on. But anyway, I guess I will be going over each and every single system that came out this generation, so I might as well get the handhelds out of the way. I'm not going to talk about the Vita because I never, not the Vita, the PSP and the PSP Go, because I never owned those consoles, and I had an interest in at one point, but after nobody gave a fuck about it, I just was like, okay, I'm not giving a shit about it either. And I own a Nintendo DS. I did used to own one. It's been replaced by my 3DS, and my original DS is long gone. I don't know what happened to it. So I think someone actually stole it from me. Yeah. Anyway, this is why you don't invite people into your house. Anyway, his stuff will get stolen. But I have my 3DS, so I can still play my DS games. And overall, from what I had played of the DS, it was a really great time for me. I did like the DS. Yeah. The two screens worked well. Has a shit ton of games, and a shit ton of good ones too. So yeah, that was reason enough to own the system. And if you own a DSi, that's probably the best normal DS you can get at this point, but honestly, who cares about the DSi when you have the 3DS XL? So, I don't have it yet. I want to get it, though. I want to get a 3DS XL at some point. And fuck the 2DS. Fuck it. I'm pretty sure many people can agree with me on that. It's so pointless, but that was a rant back then. I'm not gonna go into it now. Anyway, I guess I should talk about, so the DS, I liked the DS, I thought it was good. You know, the double screens worked well enough. They weren't overly gimmicky, and even if they had gimmicks, it wasn't, like, a major part of the gameplay. You know, I think the touchscreen worked well. Pretty much everything about the DS worked pretty well for the most part. I'm not gonna say every game on the DS was a masterpiece. Fuck no. I still don't like the 4th generation Pokemon games besides, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Anyway, but anyway, I guess I should get to the systems that really get the most attention is the home consoles. So I guess first up, since I'll go by order of which were released, I believe, I don't know this for sure, but I don't know if the Wii was released before the PS3 or if it was vice versa. I think PS3 was it released first or was it not? I think the PS3 came last. I don't remember. What I'm going to be doing it as is I'm just going to be doing 360, Wii, PS3. So if I got those wrong, then that's your fucking problem. Talk past me about it, if you can even talk past me. And, no, you can't talk to your matter, then you'd be deemed a lunatic. And then you would be sent to an insane asylum for help, but, that's just that. Anyway, I guess I should stop rambling now and just get on to the systems. I'm pretty sure people have already clicked the back button at this point because they think I'm just rambling at this point. Let's not ramble any further. So, DS, liked it. Got that out of the way. PSP, never got into it. Yeah. Now we move on to the 360, and, it's funny because my 360 is right there. So, right there. I can't show it to you. In fact, can I show it to you? If I can... Actually, I hate doing this with this kind of camera. It's right... there. I'm not going to show you the PS3 and Wii, because that's in my room. This is actually my mom's room. The reason I don't have my 360 here, I actually lost the white, red, and yellow cables, and I don't have an HD TV in there. So I have an HDMI cord for the 360, and I can still play it, and it works just fine. So, you know, I keep it in here just because of that. I will upgrade to HD at some point, and then that 360 is coming in my room. But, yeah. There's your reasoning right there. Anyway, the 360, I like the 360. I think it was a pretty good console. I don't really have many games for it. I have maybe like 2 games for it right now. No, actually, no, 3. I have a downloadable game on it. Duh, you remember that. And the downloadable game was Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the game that introduced me to that. I haven't had too much experience with it since, you know, really all there is, the single player was really just arcade mode, training mode, and I think that's about it. I don't really think there's a mission mode. So I haven't really had much to experiment with versus mode, but it is a very, I do like the flashy combos. I do think it is a fun game. And so that was a good game. I love the Marvel universe, so that's why I got it. I always wanted to try the Marvel vs. Capcom series out. And, you know, the Capcom side has some really memorable faces as well, even though I'm not really a big Capcom guy, for obvious reasons. I'm not gonna get into that. But, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the HD port, obviously. That was good. You know, that was fun. So yeah. Anyway. Then I also had Halo Reach, and then I had, Halo Reach was a fantastic game, and Halo Anniversary I had, which is all scratched up, so I can't play it anymore, but from what I have played of it, it's okay. It's a pretty decent game, I guess. Anyway, I guess I should talk about the 360's features, though. 360 I thought was a good console, again. The graphic, you know, the graphical capabilities is pretty much what you would, you know, updated and blah, 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 blah. I don't really think I need to go too much into, like, you know, the graphical capabilities. I guess you should talk about the features and the controller, especially. I do think it has its advantages over the PS3. My main complaint, though, I guess I should get the negatives out of the first, is that the 51% fail rate is very noticeable, and I have the first model. I'm not talking about the S model. I heard the S model was tons better, and it's fixed pretty much, but one thing that really bugged the shit out of me when I was actually, first getting it, was I had to get like 5 360s before I got the one that actually worked. And that was due to the Red Ring of Death. And its 51% fail rate almost made it inevitable. And it also scratched discs and had a couple of other problems that really bothered me. And it's just... The 360 had a lot of issues. In fact, that's why my Halo Anniversary disc is so scratched up. Now, you could say, get a new system then, get a new system then. Well, that's just it. I'm worried that the next system I get is going to do the exact same thing and crap out on me with the Red Ring of Death. Yeah, it's my thing for buying the thing used, but money is tight, so deal with it. And yeah, and if it happens to me, and I'm going to complain about it. So get used to it. And anyway, it's just yeah, that was my big thing for it, was that, you know, the fail rate is the biggest problem with the 360, and that's just for the normal model. I have tried out the S model because my brother used to own it. He doesn't own it anymore, but yeah, he sold it, by the way. But I did try that out. That pretty much fixed the issues. I'm pretty sure they're only selling the S model. I'm pretty sure they're only selling the S model now. So get that if you plan on getting the 360. So, but anyway, you know, I still have the original 360. I still suffer some of the consequences. So yeah. And I'm gonna cut here. And yeah. By the way, this is gonna be all one gigantic video. So yeah. Anyway, I hate that this thing only records up to 10 minutes. Anyway, now back to, damn it, I just lost track of what I was saying. Oh yeah, the fail rate. Yeah, that was the biggest problem with the 360, was the fail rate. Other than that, Uh, the 360, other than the fail rate, I will say is a huge issue, like a major issue. But despite that, it still has, the game library is pretty good, though, honestly, I will say, if you're looking for, like, really good exclusives and, well, that's just it, like, really good exclusives and variety of games, Sony, I think, has a bit better variety in terms of a selection of games, which helps. Like most of the 360's games, and this is also apparent for the PS3, but it's more apparent with the 360 because the 360 has two exclusives for the 360, and it was Gears of War and Halo. They were both first-person shooters, which the game library already has like 500 first-person shooters in the market right now. So, and that's just it. I think that Gears of War actually isn't owned by Microsoft anymore. I don't know if that's true or not. If it's not, then go ahead to correct me if you actually bother clicking on this video. But, yeah, it's just, the 360's, exclusives are kind of lacking. And I feel the PS3 just has better exclusives overall. And I'm not going to say everything the PS3 had was amazing. I'm personally not a God of War guy. And I'll go out and say I like Halo better than what's on the PS3 exclusives. But, because I never really grew up with any of the PS3 exclusives. I would go out and say that their exclusives pale in comparison to Nintendo's, because Nintendo's are just so much better. And I'll get into the Wii later on. But, in terms of exclusives, this is even for the PS3 as well, you might be disappointed with both consoles with that. PS3 is a little bit better, but, it's not, like, miles better. But it's better than what you would find on the 360 for anyone who wants a little more variety. Because, Sony hasn't really made a first-person shooter, at least I don't think they have. Sony themselves, or Naughty Dog, or anything like that. They haven't really, I don't think they made a first-person shooter, unless I missed one somehow. But, PS3 definitely has a bit better variety than that. But the 360 still has a good enough variety of games with its multi-platform games, and I think that's why it still holds up. What else is there? I guess I should talk about the Avatar system. The Avatar system, works well, again. It's pretty much like the Mii, or should I say the Mii is like the Avatar system, only the Avatar system is miles better because it's a lot more complex and you can do a lot more stuff with it, even if you're not having Xbox Live or not. In fact, that's another thing I will complain about is the online. Not that it's bad, I've actually never tried it for one reason, and I'll get to that later on. But, and it's not really so much of a complaint for me, but it's more of a little, kind of a nitpick for me. Just a nitpick, though. And, I'm pretty sure many people can agree with me on this if, they're like me and don't really use online that much. But, something's in my mouth. There's always something in my mouth. What is in my mouth? For all I know, there could have been a bug flying in there. No, that's disgusting. But, that has happened to me once, but that off topic. The 360, game library still is good. Avatar system, it has a lot of depth. You can do a lot of stuff with it, and even especially if you get like Xbox achievements. That is one thing that's worthwhile about getting them. PS3, the achievements are just sort of there. You don't really get much from them. And at least the 360 at least rewards you for some things. It rewards you for getting those achievements by letting you customize your avatar, like with, let's say in like, what is it? Like, Sonic 4 Episode 2, I think you can get like an Eggman costume with it, I think. Either that or Sonic Generations or something like that. So, that's kind of neat. So, I guess, the achievement system is better in the 360 version, I'll say that. But, I will say, I actually kind of like that Sonic 06 has an achievement system on the 360, because the 360's achievements are so hilariously bad and so horribly just... here's an example. Blue Phantom, the achievement you get when you get all of Sonic's upgrades and that piece of shit. Super Sonic obtained the all moves. That's its description. I'm not joking. That's its description. Look it up on like the Sonic Wiki or anything you can find Sonic 06's achievements on. Look up Blue Phantom achievement, and it's literally going to say Super Sonic obtained the all moves. Same one was like, well, what was the one when you beat the final story? It was like, clear the S mode, Sonic final stories. I think that's what it said. I have to look up the achievements again. They're horribly written. Anyway. Super Sonic obtained the all moves. I never got that. Anyway, despite, Sonic, and, in fact, that's one thing I will say is that, one thing, I haven't really noticed it much, because I only have exclusive for the 360, but I actually did hear that, the 360 versions of games, PS3 you have to deal with a few little things, because they're pretty much ports of the 360 versions. Just the PS3 is a bit more, what is it, a bit more, complicated with its interface and stuff like that. The PS3 developers, I don't know, I don't want to say alienated by it, but the 360 had a much easier developers had a much easier time developing games for the 360, which is why some multi-platforms do play better on the 360 than they do the PS3. Though certain ones, like some PS3 games, actually do play better on the PS3 than they do the 360. But like, for one thing, Fall for Cybertron, from what I heard, the PS3 has like tons of slowdown, and I played the PS3 version on that, and it slowed down a lot. It slowed down a lot. And I was just like, God, why is it slowing down so much? 360 has a better time with that because, usually what developers do is they make the 360 version of the game first, and then afterwards they port it to the PS3, which isn't exactly the best thing ever. You're going to have to deal with some slight symptoms, like a bit of frame rate issues. Now, for some games, it's really not noticeable to the point where, like some games, like some people, one person said, I remember Year of Win's review of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. He said the PS3 version of it has slowdown and the 360 version doesn't. I didn't suffer from any slowdown when I played it. I don't know, maybe, I don't know what happened. I just never noticed it, so I can't really say anything about it. It's not for all games, and some games have it, but, if you can deal with, like, a little bit of frame rate issues every once in a while, you should be fine. And, that is one thing the 360 has over it, is that multi-platforms not necessarily mean that they're better, it's just that it's a bit, there are a bit of, like, slight frame rate issues with some multi-platform games than on the 360. I haven't really noticed it much because all the multi-platform games that I have actually are on the PS3, to be honest. Except for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 HD. The HD port. And, yep, cut.